means outside of the earth. You know, you have terrestrial beings and you have celestial beings. Terrestrial meaning those beings of the terrain of the earth. Celestial meaning those things above. That's where you get the word stellar. See? So this kingdom is going to take place right here on the planet Earth, man. See, so that's the kingdom of heaven in its veracity. See, the true sense of that phrase. See that? Which the scriptures goes into a vivid illustration of how this kingdom will be governed. See that? Which brings me right here to the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter, and starting at the 8th verse. It says, and it shall be in that day, which this will be concerning prophecy, right? And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem. Yeah, and pretty much you are witnessing the beginning stages of this process, if you will, which starts in the form of us teaching his word. That's an example of those living waters that's going out from Jerusalem. But this will also spill over to the kingdom of heaven, meaning the law will go forth. See, from Jerusalem again, it says, and it shall be in that day, which is ultimately concerning the kingdom, you know, the climax, if you will, of this prophecy. And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem. Again, this is concerning the law being established. Once we set up in power, all right, once the Lord set us up, we're going to govern over the planet Earth by way of the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's going to be sent forth throughout the planet Earth as a decree. You know, this is how we're going to govern over the planet Earth. Matter of fact, let's prove that, and we're going to go back. It's the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, starting at the 1st verse. It says, the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And again, this is concerning the time we in now, which will eventually spill over to the kingdom. All right, Judah and Jerusalem being the southern kingdom uniting once again with the northern kingdom. See? Verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days, see, concerning prophecy, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. Now, when you come across the word mountain and the symbolic meaning of it, if you will, in the scriptures, it concerns governments. See? So when the scriptures say that the mountain of the Lord's house, right, shall be established in the top of the mountains, this means the kingdom of heaven will be exalted over any other government. See that? It says, and shall be exalted, see, above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Yeah, meaning the other nations is going to pay tribute to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, man. See that? Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us, see, and he will teach us his ways. See, in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to establish the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You know, for an example, when you consider the so-called white man and his reign of terror under this current beast system, where he teach the nations his ways. You know, the ungodliness that you see here on the planet Earth, the wickedness that have exceedingly polluted the entire world. Well, the source of it is Esau. So this man being in power, meaning his rulership, well, his influence has went throughout the world. Well, guess what? In the kingdom of heaven, righteousness is going to be established. See, and that's what we read here again. And many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob. And he will teach us, see, of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion, see, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, see, shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, see. So the law is going to be established from out of Zion and shall go forth from out of Jerusalem. So that's what we're reading right here. When you go back here again To the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter. And starting at the 8th verse, it says, "And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem." See? Half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. So we're going to thoroughly establish the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. These living waters that shall go out from Jerusalem is the same law that's going to go out of Zion and out of Jerusalem, which we read in the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. So there's going to be a contrast of worlds here. Here under the so-called white man's watch, you have wickedness being established, but in the world to come, righteousness would dwell. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick before we continue. This is the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. In the 13th verse, it says, "Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness." See, let's read this again. "Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness." See? And this is going to take place right here on the planet Earth. And how do we know that? Well, let's go back to the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter. And again, starting at the 8th verse, it says, "And it shall be in that day that living water shall go out from Jerusalem." See? Because again, in the kingdom, the law is going to be established, which promotes life. See? It says, "Half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth." See? "And the Lord shall be king over all the earth." See? "In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one." So there's going to be one vibration over the planet Earth. You know, versus now, you have this mixture, you have this mixed wine, this melting pot, America being at the forefront of the confusion that's on display. Where in the world to come, there's going to be one law that's going to go forth, one vibration that's going to rule over the planet Earth under our Lord Yahweh Shah. You know, along with the 144,000. You know, those who are set, the next regime that is set to govern over the planet Earth and beyond. So this is the kingdom of heaven in its true sense. This is the veracity of the kingdom. Meaning it's going to be played out right here on the planet Earth. So y'all just want to touch on that. Lord willing, it was edifying. Till the next time I say shalom.